All right, what's up friends? Today we are here again with the MBS Agent, the 18S ready to go mountain board that can take you wherever your heart desires. Today we're going to do a range test, and the last thing that I did a range test on, which you'll see before this video, was the VESC Mini Monster. And this is about as far from that board as you can get. Besides the rev, I mean, this thing is it's a beast. 57 pounds, 18S 4P, big old pneumatic tires, a super comfy deck, and a throttle that lets you shoot off like a bat out of hell. In any case, today we're going to see how far it can go. Potentially more than just today, probably today and tomorrow. But starting off the route, we're doing the same route as always, averaging between 15 and 20 in the first third, 20 to 25 in the second third, and 15 to 20 in the third third, roughly. Trying to target 15 to 18 mile an hour average speed. The route has a hill on it. I feel like I probably don't need to go over all this stuff. You guys have seen quite a few range tests lately. But I think this one will be interesting. If my intuition serves me right, I'm thinking that we're probably going to see somewhere in the 22 to 25 mile range on this. I believe it's 1,040 something watt hours. I'd have to look at the website, but 18S 4P is quite a few cells. It's 72 cells. So you've got quite a bit of watt hours in there to deal with, but you have big tires and a powerful ESC, so sometimes those can take away from the expected range, but I think it'll easily do 20 to 25 miles. As always, your range is going to vary, and it will depend heavily on how heavy you are, what the terrain is you're riding on, and what speeds you're riding at. So today, I'm probably gonna be out here for a while. I wanna talk about a couple things through the updates on this range test. One is how the remote does. We're at 3 bars out of 5 right now on the remote battery. I wanna talk about the foot pads, how comfortable they are. And if I like the F5X Bindings. And then I want to talk a little bit about the general riding experience of the board, which in my testing so far has been incredible. This thing is punchy, fun, flexible, and generally just a really fun time altogether. I don't think that opinion is going to change at all on this ride. If anything, it'll make me love it more, and probably make me think that I should get rid of my DIY and buy this thing. Not actually, but it is a very fun board. So I'm going to check in with you guys probably after the first lap, because usually nothing really happens on the first lap in these boards. Maybe I'll check in with you on the uphill side of rolling resistance hill, but I think we all know that this can do that hill no issue at its full speed if you so desired. And mind you, we're not going full speed on this route. That's not the point of these range tests. I've gone up to about 30 on this board so far. Felt pretty comfortable. Still working my way up to the top speed of 40. But I'm certainly not doing 40 in a tank top. And to be honest, you probably shouldn't be riding in a tank top, but it was so nice today. It's like 73 degrees and sunny, so I just couldn't help it. But I'll catch up with you guys in a bit. One other thing I should mention real quick, we are riding in turbo mode, of course. We always do these range tests in the maximum performance mode, and we're also riding with the Riot throttle turned on. In one of my previous videos, I talk a lot about how punchy this board is, and that's because I've had the Riot throttle on the whole time. It still has a lot of power if you have it turned off. It just is in a different spot in the throttle range. So we're on Riot throttle. We've got all the power at the bottom of the throttle range. And I'll tell you, even though we're in full power mode, This thing hardly needs any throttle at all to just go 25 miles an hour. I mean, it doesn't even look that fast. We're going 25 right now. This board is just so comfy that you can just cruise at 25. And it's like it's not even trying. So yeah, just want to let you know what power mode I was in and what that's all about. All right, so first lap update. Remote says 8.5 miles. GPS says 7.5. We've gone 7.5. We are currently still at full bars. Nothing off the battery at all yet. And that's pretty impressive. We did the hill, we did everything like normal, and still nothing off. So this gives me high hopes that it will hit at least the 25 that I'm hoping it will. What might not happen though is the remote might not last. So I might have to stop and charge the remote at some point during this ride. We dropped 1 bar of battery since we started. I probably should have charged it before this ride, but it's fine. These remotes have been, in my experience, not the best in terms of battery life. However, I will say this MBS one is probably one of the newer ones because it seems to be lasting a lot longer than the one that was on my Flex Paragon. So that's good at least. Obviously, you can always replace a battery in these things if you need to, and you can fit a pretty big one in there. I think 950 milliamp hours is about the max size that you can fit in the handle of this thing. So I believe they're shipping with bigger ones now than they used to, which is probably why this one's good. But regardless, oh wow, we just dropped a battery bar as I was recording. All right, so 20% is about, I think we're probably at 8 miles now. Yeah, 8 miles. So maybe we're looking at closer to 30. This could be really good, but as this isn't going to be the same as the VESC one, but as the VESC one went, the bars at the bottom part of the battery charge do go a lot faster typically, so we'll see, but pretty good so far. Again, nothing really happens on this second lap here, so I'm just going to do a whole nother lap right now, and I'll catch up with you guys at the next range update. Oh, and I should mention my feet are doing great. I had a little bit of soreness in my back foot at the beginning, but that's pretty normal once you start riding again. So feeling nice and comfy. I'm pretty happy with where I've ended up on this binding stance. I've adjusted it a couple times, but I'm pretty happy where I'm at now. And I'm running them pretty loose right now because when you're riding on the street, you really don't need that much control performance. So I'm running them a bit loose so that I don't lose circulation to my toes. All right, so we're obviously not all the way done with our second loop yet, but we just got remote battery warning number 1 on the remote, and we're currently at 1 bar. So we're gonna find out pretty soon here if you can charge and ride at the same time. So I don't know if I want to let it go to remote battery warning number 2, because that seems kind of sketchy. So I'm probably gonna pull off up here in just a second and try and plug this into my power bank, and hopefully I can keep riding while it charges, because if I can't, then I'm gonna have to sit around and that's gonna be really annoying. So I'll catch up with you guys in a minute. All right, so it looks like you can ride and charge. I just plugged it into my power bank. So we'll be doing that from now on. We also just dropped our second bar of battery. We're currently at 14.8 on the remote. On GPS, we are at 13.2. So the difference has widened a little bit. So I assume what's happening here is the tires have worn off a bit, and they're not the diameter that the remote quite thinks they are. Really not a big deal, but I do trust GPS more. So 3 bars. We've gone about 13.2 miles on 2 bars. So maybe we'll get to 25. We'll see. I'll check in again. I don't know when something interesting happens. There isn't really a whole lot of interesting stuff happening on this route. I will say bumps, pebbles, manhole covers, don't have to worry about any of them on this board. You can just steamroll right over them, and it feels like nothing. Really great, really fun. My feet are starting to get a little bit fatigued. I'm not sure if there's a tiny bit of camber in this deck. I don't think there is. It almost feels like there is on my rear foot. But still doing good. Not too bad. We've definitely lost a little bit of punch being down 2 bars now, but it is absolutely not bad at all. Very strong. We're still down 2 bars. Nothing more yet. I expect the next one will go partway through this next loop, and then the last 2 might go on the 4th loop, probably at different points, but we'll see. And there's our loop start. Still at 3 bars at loop start, so that's, let's see, probably about 14.8 miles on 2 bars. Not too bad, not too bad. 27 miles an hour right now. Need to slow down, I'm going too fast. It's just so easy. Don't have to worry about all these little bumpies like I usually do. All right, we just dropped another range bar. It is currently at about, on GPS, it should be around 18.2 miles or so. So we're at 2 bars left, and we're rolling down rolling resistance hill. One thing while we're going down this hill is that this does have higher rolling resistance than any. I think it has slightly higher than the Rev. These tires have a lot more contact patch. So I kind of max out at 27, 28 rolling down this hill, which is pretty fast to be honest, but not crazy. I don't like keep accelerating, if you know what I mean, like you would on a Thane board. And since we're here, this is probably the most comfortable ride on vibration bridge that you can get. I mean, if you even just look at the deck vibration, you really are not feeling a whole lot. Even compared to the Rev board, which had a really good flexible, comfortable deck. And we're going up the hill now. Again, no issue at all holding 25. I do feel like we're a lot softer now though. And it's kind of to be expected on a 4P pack. You're going to start having some sag when you get down to the 25%, 25-30% range of battery left. So we're definitely getting there, and I can feel its soft response, especially on a throttle up. It's not as punchy as it used to be. Still perfectly fine though, and this is a pretty big hill. So I'll catch up with you guys once we drop another battery bar. And yeah, it's going pretty good so far at about 19.3 miles now, so pretty good. All right, we're still in the 2 bar range. Acceleration power has significantly dropped off. It's still acceptable, but definitely noticeable. We're at about 21-ish miles. Doing good. think we're gonna hit the target that I was hoping for, 25, and probably go a little bit past it. I wouldn't be surprised if we get to about 26. With how we've been going, I would expect 2 bars to last even maybe 14 miles, but that's probably a little bit optimistic for the lower end of a cell's discharge curve, so let's see how it goes. We are somehow still in the 2 bar range. Acceleration power is now maybe 1/4 of what it was at full power or at full battery charge. Still a very comfy ride, easily getting to 27, 28, 30 miles an hour, no problem. It's more comfortable to cruise at about 20 right now, maybe 20 to 25. But for some reason, this second to last bar is just hanging on for a long time. It's gonna die soon though. We're currently at about 22 miles, maybe a little bit less than that by GPS. Getting there. All right, so we're back at our start of our route. We've gone about another 0.8 miles since the last update. So we're at about 22.8-ish miles. And we just got board battery power low warning number 1, which was it dropping from 2 bars to 1 bar. The power is significantly reduced. Pretty much all the punch is gone. However, I was still on 2 bars when I started riding. I was still able to go 28 miles an hour. It just took a lot more of the throttle than it was before. So it's still kicking along, but the end is very close. We might actually hit the 25 number that I was looking for, so I'm pretty impressed. All right, so we're still sitting at 1 bar. This is what happens if I max throttle. Basically nothing. So we haven't hit a super low speed limit yet. It seems like I can still get over 20. Oh, that was a weird cutout. Oh, that was actually a signal cutout. Weird. Yeah, it seems like I can still get to almost 20 miles an hour, but cruising at 15, 1 bar battery, and yeah, we're gonna be dead here pretty soon. All right, so we just got board power low warning number 2. The single bar that's left is flashing now, and the remote says we've done 3 miles since that first clip. We're still kicking along though. I was going over 20 miles an hour just a minute ago. So once you get to the last bar, you still got a little bit left in there of usable speed, which is good because nobody wants to carry a almost 60-pound board in an Uber or on their back in the backpack that I have right now. I have full plans to put it in here if I needed to, but it just so turned out that there was construction on my normal route today, so I'm on a little bit of a different path back, and I think we're going to die on this path back, which is perfect. Hopefully I don't have to put it in the backpack and deal with figuring out balancing on my shortboard with this thing. But yeah, like I said, pretty decent amount of power still, or speed still, with 1 flashing bar left. Still able to get to almost 20, and that's perfectly usable to sort of limp your way home. I'll catch up with you guys once we hit the actual 3 miles an hour mark. We've already gone through 2 battery warnings, so I keep saying this, but it should be happening soon. All right, we just did a loop of my local park, and I can still get up in speed, but starting from 0, the current limit is very real. So I'm still gonna ride it out to 3, but for a mountain board, especially off-road, I kind of consider it dead right now. It's really not giving the power that you need for doing a trail. If you're on the flat street close to your destination, you'll be fine, but trail, probably not. All right, we've reached the end. There's 3 miles an hour right there. And honestly, we've been here for a while. I would have called it quits a little while ago, because we've been going about 10 miles an hour for the last mile. Remote says 5.5 miles. Let's see what GPS says. And I realized that we're not on the normal route right now, but to be honest, I didn't really want to carry this on my back. Hopefully you guys understand. I finished this off with some loops of relatively flat ground. So it looks like, yeah, we're at 5 miles. Our previous route was 21.77, and then we'll be 21.77 plus 4.93, 26.7 miles. Honestly, I'm pretty impressed by this thing. That's a lot of distance to go on a 4P pack. I don't know for sure what cells are in here. It's either like 50S or P42A. I'd have to confirm with Joel or MBS or whatever, because I don't see the cell listed on the site, which is kind of weird because they're usually pretty open with their component choice and stuff like that. But there you go. It's a pretty good amount of mileage, and I enjoyed every bit of it. There was a little bit of foot fatigue, I will say. I think the concave on the rear foot pad is getting to me a little bit. The front one feels really nice. I like the F5X Bindings. They've been good. Street experience overall on this mountain board has been awesome. The big tires and flexible deck have made it really enjoyable. Got tons of grip for carving on these tires, and I mean, you wouldn't really know that they're an off-road tire by how grippy they are. They compare to an equivalent size 8-inch tire, or even better. Honestly, I think these grip better than most of the 8-inch tires I've ridden before. So overall, really great experience. The Rexus Remote, I charged it on the way, on the last leg of that previous journey, and it got up to, I think, 4 bars. We're back down to 3 again now. So we used about a bar for the last 5 miles. So pretty decent performance. I think that covers pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about in this video. Hopefully you guys found this cool. And let me know what you got for your range on your Explorer with an 18S 4P battery. Or let me know what you got on your jump pack, because I'm really curious if the 2P would be able to do like half that, like maybe 15 or like 12.5 miles or something, or if it would be less. I don't know, but overall, great time. Shout out to Joel and MBS for letting me borrow this again. I'm going to be doing performance testing on it very soon, and then we'll have a review for you guys showing off this awesome board. So thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, keep on riding, and peace out.